Welcome to this unconventional tutorial for this here Checkmate top, inspired by Battle of the Stitches, August 2025. Hey Lexi with Helix Stitchcraft here. Today we are doing my Battle of the Stitches, August 2025 tutorial for the top that I showed you previously here. We are working with the double crunch, or no, the staggered double crochet from the step-by-step guide to 200 crochet stitches by Tracey Todhunter. We're going to be using this discontinued cherry compote big cake from Caron and using a 5.5 millimeter Omi crochet hook. We are going to start with a foundation row, a multiple of 6. We're not yet going to do the step of the 2 plus 2. In fact, I'm going to change it just a tiny bit for you. So we're going to start with 60 stitches. You will want your multiple of 6 to carry you from shoulder to shoulder on your body. Now, we're not going to work in the V's. Turn it over and work in the back bumps. 1 single crochet, so chain 1, single crochet in each one of these all the way across. Editing Lexi here to confess that I accidentally deleted the next clip. So once we get to the end of the single crochet row, we're going to turn our work, chain 1, and do a half double crochet all the way across for each of those 60 stitches, and then I pick up from here. And here's our final half double crochet for this row. Now we're going to turn our work, chain 1, and continue half double crochets in each of these 60 stitches all the way across this row. Here's our final half double crochet for the row. We are going to turn our work. You should chain 1, but I have neglected to do so here. So ignore that. I want you to chain 1. And then we are doing a half double crochet front post. We're going around the post of the previous row's half double crochet with another half double crochet here. So again, a half double front post crochet stitch in each of these posts across the row. This is going to create a ridge that we will consider to be the outside of our shirt on both the front and back panels. And here we are now at the final front post half double crochet for the row. Now we're going to turn our work. And instead of doing the +2 +2, as was said in the book, I'm going to show you my little trick. We're going to chain 1 and work our first double crochet into that same stitch. And then we work our cluster of 3 double crochets to begin our checkerboard pattern. There's our first block. And now chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And skip 3. In the 4th chain, another double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, another cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 3, and skip 3. 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, a double crochet, cluster of 3 again in the next 3 stitches. There's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 eventually. Yes, here we go. 3 double crochets. Chain 3, skip 3, and continue. I am unfortunately absurdly off of screen for the next little while in our video here. So, we are at the end of our row. Here's our cluster of 4 to end our row. Now we're going to turn our work and chain 1 and work a double crochet into that first stitch. We always work a double crochet into that first stitch with our chain 1. Now we're working opposite in a checkerboard pattern, so we're chaining 3 and working our next 3 double crochets into the chain 3 space. Unfortunately, you cannot see this except when I show you here. Okay. Now we're going to chain 3 and skip over the previous row's 3 double crochets and work our next 3 double crochets into the next chain 3 space. We're going to work this way all the way across. Here we've reached the end of the row and we are going to put a final double crochet into that last stitch before we again turn our work. Chain 1, put a double crochet into that first stitch as we do at the beginning of each row. And now into this chain 3 space, 3 double crochets. We begin to see our checkerboard pattern all the way across. And our final double crochet for the row. Now we are going to turn our work. Chain 1, of course, and then double crochet into that first stitch. And continue our checkerboard pattern, chaining 3. And then put 3 double crochets into the chain 3 space. I will mention here that I like to place my thumb between each of the double crochets as I am creating them in these chain 3 spaces, as to keep them more of a square shape than a V, as you can see here. Now we're going to work back and forth until we reach our desired length. Once we have reached said length, we are going to turn our work and chain 1 and put a half double crochet into each stitch all the way across this row. In those chain 3 spaces, of course, 3 half double crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, y'all. Now, once we have 2 matching panels, I'm staying connected to my ball because we're going to crochet to stitch these things together. So you're going to take one panel and measure against your own body, assuming you're making this for yourself, okay? Imagine about where you're going to pin on the shoulders and decide where you want your neck hole to be. I'm going to call it about here. We need stitch markers, okay? I'm going to estimate this middle stitch here. All right, so what I'm going to end up doing is counting the same number of stitches and attaching that to my other panel in the same place. We're going to do the same, count the same number of stitches on the other side so that we're even, and mark it attaching both panels. Be right. I forgot to mention, because we created this ridge, this is my indication of the outside of the shirt, if you will. So make sure that as you're pinning these things together, that this ridge is facing each other on the inside of the 2 panels, okay? We're gonna also want our corners pinned together for now, okay? For one, to keep this stitch in place where we're still attached to our ball, okay? And for 2, because we're going to try on, since we're making this to fit our body. There's one. Here's the other thing. If we have any miscounts in between, they are now, because we counted from the inside and where we're going to stitch, they're now going to fall in that neck hole. If anything, that's going to provide you an indication of which is your front and which is your back of your shirt. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. We're fudging our way through a really cute top. Here we go. Okay. So, pinning this, I'm going to go up and over my head into the neck hole. All right. Make sure you like where it's sitting. I like that. Now, pull down in the back. Don't mind. I apologize. Pull down in the back. Find where they meet. Okay. That you're comfortable with. I've got a finger in each side. I'm going to do that on the front and one on the back. I'm going to take this back off. I want to do some counting and marking. There we go. Okay. Now that does not line up perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to average it and go right in the middle there. It's acrylic, at least for mine, and depending on what you decide to use, it's going to stretch. So I feel comfortable sliding up more than I do sliding down, or strike that reverse. I don't know, whatever. You mean what I know. I feel better averaging it. We'll go with that. So now I'm going to go count and make sure that I'm even on the other side. All right, I'm going to go back down to the table now that we're all pinned. Okay. We should now be pinned from top corner where we've done the half double crochets in where you're going to stitch. You're only going to stitch these 2 sides. And then we're going to skip this and stitch from here down to this flap. And then we're going to leave this open. Okay? So, I got a little bit of cleanup to do here from pinning it incorrectly. I'm going to take that off. we're going to do the outside only. Slip stitching all the way across. Cut our yarn, pull through, darning needle out, weaving that in real quick. Pull everything into place. And now, the other side. We're going to put a slip stitch, slip knot on your hook. Let's turn our work. Alright, so now, this is where we've just stitched together in our neck hole. We're coming down here, we're going to make sure we line up all the way down. Okay, find your bottom rows, line these up, and we're going to come to our first slip stitch right here. Okay, so another slip knot, and you come right in those stitches and create, cinch it down, and now we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to wrap 2 stitches you can be more refined if you want. I want to cruise through this. So each row, I'm just going to get 2 stitches around each post. Continue until here. Then when we get to the end here, we're going to pull and sew in our ends, of course. Once you weave in all of your ends, flip your shirt inside out, and there we have it.